Hey guys, SkiveWalker here. The Fett and I would like to give a special shout out and a very big thank you to A&B Masonry, our very first sponsor. These guys are truly amazing and they are the best at what they do. Their body of work really does speak for itself. They are personable, down to earth, and just downright good people. If you guys want some work taken care of, these guys are the guys to go to. They're going to make sure everything is just the way you want it. Perfect. You guys will never regret it. They take care of tile, concrete, chimney repairs, stone, brick, block work, any kind of cleaning restorations that you guys may need. If you want some more information, give my man Tyler Otto a call at 330-289-4824. His number again is 330-289-4824. You can also send him an email at ta.09joy@gmail.com. That email again is ta.09joy@gmail.com. You can also find them on Facebook. Just search A&B Masonry. Let them know that you heard about them from the Fett and SkiveWalker show. A&B Masonry, thank you guys so much. Cannot wait to get started working with you. What is going on, guys? SkiveWalker here, and today, we've had a little bit of a delay. We have been absent Saturday, Sunday, but here's the reason why. This is going to be our first episode we were putting on Apple Podcast. We wanted to make everything perfect for you guys. And unfortunately, that still kind of didn't happen with some delays that we had today. But other than that, today we are going to be talking about the NFL draft. It is coming up. It is this week. I cannot believe it. All the talk around Cleveland sports radio around here has been all about the draft. Even though the Cavs are in the playoffs, the Blue Jackets are doing pretty solid in the playoffs. We all know in Cleveland, football is king here in downtown. And with that, the draft has been the talk of the town. So finally, we can get over with it. It'll be done and over with this weekend. What's going on, my man?
What is going on, Mr. Walker?
I'm doing good. Just another day in paradise, brother.
To go ahead and hit on a thing you said football is king in Cleveland, but of course it's king in Cleveland because you only got to win one game to go up from last year.
This is true. This is true.
So all you Brownies fans out there, don't give us a hard time. Despite us not being total Browns fans, we are partial to you guys because you are the local team. And as a Ravens fan, contrary to popular belief, I would like to see the Browns succeed. I'm always about seeing the local team succeed.
Absolutely.
I rep the Cavs hard. But when it comes to football, I rep the Ravens. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't mind seeing the Bengals and the Steelers in the basement and the Brownies second behind the Ravens. So
my uncle might have something to say about that Steelers one. But all right, guys. So today we made up some mock drafts. Mr. Fett one might have some more coming up. Not his final one, but he might have another one coming up this week. This one is going to be my final one. Just things that I can have, and there's some things that. I wish I can go back and do, and you could say, well, why don't you just go back and do it? Well, because I think the way that it's structured, I think it makes sense in a way. And the draft, nobody ever gets a mock draft right. No. So even if I took the time to go back and made the changes, I'm still probably going to be 90% incorrect, right? So there's going to be trades that happen that nobody sees coming. I mean, nobody saw Arizona coming up last year.
Yep.
Nobody saw the Chiefs come up to get Pat Mahomes.
No one saw Cleveland having two top five picks, too.
Right. Absolutely. Well, actually, technically, I did. And here's why. You can ask our good friend Christian. Me and him went to the draft party last year in Cleveland. Now, due to a softball game, I'm not going to be able to make it up this year. I'm sure we're going to have a group of people come over to the house and watch it. But last year when the Browns traded back and the Texans traded up to get Deshaun Watson, I had the most perfect reaction being a Colts fan. I did a double fist pump in the air. I was so excited and said, yes, the Texans are going to suck again. And sure enough, there it goes. And even people can say what they want, whether they think he's good, whether they think he's bad. Even when he was a quarterback, if I remember right, they were 1-3. Yeah. So as good as people may think he is, even with him, they were still 1-3. So, all right, going into the mock draft, who do you have? Cleveland taking number 1. Do you have a trade? What do you got?
Okay, so what I have for the Brownies, is I have it mapped out as them needing offensive line help. Obviously, a quarterback in the cards because Tyrod Taylor, I believe, is coming in on a 1-year deal. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, so running back, they could always use help because Crowell has underachieved, and losing Joe Thomas on the line hurts. They also, I believe, need linebacker and corner help.
Remember, they lost Crowell and said Carlos Hyde.
Yes. And I am all right with that, I guess, if Carlo Hyde's coming in on goal line packages because they still have Duke Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
But Duke Johnson's contract's coming up, and Carlos Hyde he's getting near 30, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's around 28, 29.
Okay, so that does leave areas. My number one overall pick, if I am the Cleveland Browns, it has to be the best player overall in the draft, Saquon Barkley. And let me tell you why real quick, all right? Saquon, he fills multiple positions, not just a running back. You have a guy that can take kick returns and punt returns back. I don't know if you watched, everyone's like, oh, Jabril Peppers, he's a special teams threat. I didn't see any of that. The only thing I saw from Jabril Peppers was he was 40 yards deep off the ball and not making plays. And I guess I could say typical Michigan guy there for that. But
Well, I think it's more of the defensive scheme, too, so hopefully...
That is true.
Hopefully I don't know what he was doing with that. It wasn't even close. I think he's still playing back out in Ann Arbor, so he was that far off.
But I will say there is a gentleman that goes by the name of the Dog Pound Drunkard I know that claims that the Greg Williams scheme, all right, if you go back and watch when he was in Washington, he did the same thing with Sean Taylor. Mm-hmm. And we know Sean Taylor was a great safety after about 2 or 3 years in the league, so only time's going to tell on Jabril. But number one, I have the Brownies going and snagging Saquon, gives them another offensive weapon, and I think at 4, their next pick, the quarterback they want will still be there. So who do you have at number 1, buddy?
Number 1, the Cleveland Browns select quarterback Sam Darnold, USC. And I think that because everybody knows the most important position on the football field is the quarterback. You can say, well, Philly won with a backup. Yeah, but is Nick Foles really a backup? I mean, I'm not so high on Nick Foles, but he definitely could start just about anywhere in the league. He's not your typical backup. He's a solid quarterback, as long as he's got the good coach. Because as you can see, when he had Chip Kelly as his quarterback, he succeeded. As soon as he got a defensive-minded quarterback, that's when he struggled. So he does need a certain type of coach. I get that. But other than Nick Foles, a quarterback is the most important position on the football field. If you don't have one, you're not going to win. I guess the Seattle Seahawks were an exception back with Trent Dilfer. He's definitely the worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl.
He also wore purple and black.
Yeah, that he
Super Bowl ring too.
Oh, did he?
First
okay.
Ravens W.
Worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. Okay.
Really? You're gonna put that on him? Oh,
I think so. I think he's one of the worst.
Oh, I don't know if
so
I
to
would
me,
put the worst.
And here's something crazy about this pick. Sam Darnold is my second favorite quarterback in this draft. I personally like Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield has the most talent. However, my worry with Baker Mayfield is not so much the off the field stuff, not so much the height, but has he peaked too early? Has he already gone? Are we already seeing as good as he's going to get? And is he ever going to translate even better into the NFL? Where Sam Darnold, sure, he got smoked against Ohio State, and he kind of looked clueless at times. But if you look back, he still had good numbers. He still was putting them downfield during certain spots of the game. I think Sam Darnold's the most safe quarterback that you need to take. But I'm also not opposed to the Browns re-signing Tyrod Taylor for more than this year. Re-signing him for maybe next year, given whoever they take, whether it be Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, whichever quarterback they take, I think would benefit having at least 2 years on the bench.
Now let me say 2 things about that. Okay, number 1, my question to you is, and I'll let you finish after I say the other thing. Can a Southern California kid come to Cleveland where you play in crappy weather from October through January, and the division, I know you know about the AFC North.
Oh, yeah.
I know what they say. You need a big, tough, cold weather quarterback who can take poundings.
Yep.
Now, I watched the Ohio State USC game, all right, and Ohio State camped out in the backfield, and they forced them to run. Now, that is because the Ohio State defensive line is the best in the country.
That's ridiculous.
Penn State, we found that out, didn't we? All right, Saquon got bottled up. If it wasn't a kick return, he didn't do anything. But I will say I like Sam Darnold. I just think he's going to be there at 4 for them. And obviously we'll go through the rankings. You'll hear why. But do you think this kid can play in cold weather Cleveland, playing on the Mistake on the Lake in First Energy Stadium?
I think he can.
Okay.
I think he's talented enough to do it, more or less for this reason. I know pro days are nothing to go off of. I understand that. Pro days are overrated. And let's be honest, the draft combine is a little overrated.
Yes.
Can it help your draft stock? Absolutely. I mean, Saquon Barkley looked like an absolute freak.
Yes.
Bradley Chubb looked like an absolute freak. But running around in shorts is different than getting it tackled.
In full pads, yeah.
In full pads.
Right.
Okay. But when Sam Darnold's... Here's why I like Sam Darnold.
Okay.
And I like Baker Mayfield for the same thing. They both bring that ability into the locker room where they walk in and he is just a natural leader. And that's why originally I had Baker Mayfield ahead of every other quarterback, because he was head and shoulders above, just where people want to be around him, where they look to him to win the game. Sam Darnold is the exact same way. And in Sam Darnold's pro day, it leaked out that they actually wanted to change his throwing time up because of the weather that was coming. And he said, no, I want to throw in the rain. I want to show that I'm able to throw in the weather. I'm able to throw in the cold. It wasn't super cold there, obviously, because it was in California.
Yeah, I was about to say California cold compared to Cleveland cold is a whole lot different.
That's a whole lot different. But I think if you give him that ability to work through 1 year, if he comes in rookie season, week 1, and he's the starting quarterback, he's going to fail. It's going to happen. I think Deshaun Kaiser has a lot of talent, but because he was thrown in the fire right off the rip, I think him going to Green Bay is going to be huge for him. But with Sam Darnold, I think if you have time, you have Tyrod Taylor. The biggest thing I cannot stress to Cleveland fans enough, do not worry about your record so much this year. You're going to win some games. You're not going to go 0-16 this year. You added some talent. It does not mean you're going to the playoffs. So if you start off 0-5, do not ask for Tyrod Taylor to come out of the game. Sam Darnold will still not be ready.
And another thing, give Hugh the whole year. Give him
I agree.
complete seasons.
I agree.
Jimmy Haslam has a nasty habit of getting fed up halfway through a year and a half. And we saw analytics did not work in Cleveland.
No,
so what did they do? They went to a football
guy.
mind.
And I like John Dorsey a lot.
I think John Dorsey's huge for them. I'm still not high on Hugh because I've heard all this.
I'm not either. I don't like that he's cocky.
Well, that
He's
and
arrogant.
everyone says he's a quarterback guru. Yeah,
And I mean,
everyone's like, "Oh, Andy Dalton's great because of him." Andy
Dalton's
mediocre.
nothing. What did he ever do in the playoffs? I mean, come on.
I think he's 0 for 2. But
yeah.
So give me your number 2. Switching gears now that we've spent a little bit of time on the local Browns, we'll get back to them here at Pick 4. But the New York Giants at number 2. What's going on?
Number 2, I was torn on this, and I was 100% on this decision the entire draft process. I never changed until Wednesday. I had them taking Josh Rosen.
Yep.
Until Wednesday.
Really?
And I switched. In my draft, I have them taking Saquon Barkley. And here's why.
Okay.
I was 100%, like I said, 100% they were taking quarterback Josh Rosen. They love Rosen. Rosen wants to be in New York. I figured that was going to happen. But I still think the New York front office thinks Eli Manning can perform 4 more years. And because that he can perform 3-4 more years, they can wait on a quarterback. They can maybe trade back into the first round and get like a Mason Rudolph, or take one of the kids from one of the smaller schools and develop him for the next couple years and not waste one of their top talents. And the Giants need a running back. The Giants are struggling.
I can agree with you on that. Now, I do not have them taking Saquon, obviously, because in mine,
right, you have him going to Cleveland.
So I'm going to go with your initial statement. I'm going with Josh Rosen. And a lot of people, I'm going to hear crap about this because, I got to ask a silly question, too. Is this dude from California going to be able to go play in New York in the cold?
Right.
And so it's kind of the same thing I was asking the Brownies fans when they want Sam Darnold. But we know that the Giants are going to need a quarterback to replace Eli Manning.
Absolutely.
We know they're going to need a running back. They also are going to need a wide receiver because they have Brandon Marshall's just not cutting it. Sterling Shepard.
No, they cut Brandon Marshall recently.
Oh, that's right. I
cut
apologize
him.
for that. So Sterling Shepard and Odell together. Ingram's a beast.
And is Odell really going to be there? I mean, I know the front office says he's going to, but there's a lot of drama and a lot of rumors he could be moved.
Which, I mean, well, if you think about it and somebody really pursues him hard enough, I do think the Giants are in a position to trade Odell, and then they could be that team that sneaks back in the first round.
Yep.
But I do not want to hear Odell is going to New England.
He's not going to New England.
No to Green Bay. Do not give him a good quarterback that's proven with a good track record, because I think he's at this point of his career where he realizes how good he could be, and the last thing I need is Odell to be dancing with the stars, so to speak, in New England or Green Bay. So
what do you got at 3?
At 3, the New York Jets. Now they traded up, right?
Yes, they traded with the Colts.
Okay.
Yep.
Now the Jets, according to what I've been reading, they need a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, DN, and corner. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, a lot of people have them going. They traded up for the whole reason they get a quarterback.
Absolutely, yeah. This one to me was the easiest one out of the whole thing.
And see, this is one of the ones we're going to disagree on. I have them bypassing all the offense and getting Bradley Chubb.
Really?
And let me tell you why. did you see the moves they made? They lost a whole lot on the defensive line, okay? Muhammad Wilkerson, I believe, is gone.
Yeah, he just never panned out for him. I mean, he was talented.
He was for about a year or two, but I believe he's in Seattle now.
I think so. I think you're correct.
I have them coming up, and they need to fill that defensive end spot. Why not get the best overall defensive end? We already know you guys need offense. You're going to get that later in the draft. You're going to have the cap space and move, but your defense isn't actually that bad. Jets defense, they kept them in games. The problem is Josh McCown.
Right. And hey, he's a good person.
He is.
And he's a good backup quarterback to mentor somebody, but he is not a starting quarterback. He never has been.
He's not taking you over 500.
No.
So
no.
I have Bradley Chubb going at 3, my bad, to the New York Jets. And like I said, they need to replace that loss at the D end because that's a giant hole. I don't think they have anyone just to plug in there. And I think that's huge for them because their defense is already solid. So you throw in the best defensive player in the draft, in my opinion, right there. Boom, you don't got to worry about defense, and then they can focus the rest of the draft on offense. Who do you got at 4 or 3? Man, I did it twice.
Number 3, I have quarterback Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma.
Oh.
I think here's why. As soon as they made that trade, it came out that they loved Baker Mayfield. Now, it could be a complete smokescreen. And in my mock draft, Josh Rosen's still there. And if the Giants don't take him, the Jets could be like, all right, he's the best pure passer. I mean, when you see the guy throw, that's the guy who you want throwing the football. I mean, he has great mechanics. He just throws the ball great. But I think the Jets want to sell tickets. I think they want to get the fan base back. I think they want to get a buzz. And to get a buzz, who's the quarterback right now that is going to get the most buzz?
Johnny
that
Manziel?
is still, yeah, Johnny Manziel. He's not Johnny Football, but yes.
You're right. Baker Mayfield fits that.
Baker Mayfield fits the mold. And I think they're going to take a quarterback because they gave up a lot. Obviously, they traded the 6th pick, and they gave up 2 more second-round picks that are pretty low in the draft to Indianapolis. Heat up there. And I think if you give up all that, which could turn into a lot of play. I mean, this draft is a pretty good draft for defense.
Yes.
And they gave up a lot to get moved back up. And at first, if you remember, I don't know if I blew up your phone, but I blew up a lot of other people's phones saying how ticked off I was at this trade. But now that I've had time to relax, get some composure, it actually worked well in the Colts' favor. And if everything, I still don't think we're going to get Bradley Chubb, but we can still get a couple good pieces from it. But I don't think the Jets are trading up just to get somebody. I think they're trading up to get a quarterback. And at number 4, your Cleveland Browns, I have them taking Bradley Chubb. Now you can say they have Emmanuel Ogbah. They have Myles Garrett. Why get another edge? Because you can never have too many pass rushers, and Myles Garrett is injury prone.
Ooh.
I love Myles Garrett. I love him. I think he was absolutely, without a doubt, the number 1 pick last year. He had to be. The talent, the upside. If you compare him with Bradley Chubb, who is by consensus the best edge rusher, the best pass rusher in this draft, you have 2 guys. You have Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis for the next 10 years. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And then as good as Emmanuel Ogbah is, and I think he is great, I don't think he'll be elite, but if Myles Garrett goes down, or if Bradley Chubb goes down, or even just in a rotation, you always have 3 guys that are above average to superstars that are constantly pushing on a defense. Now, I would not be surprised if the Browns trade out here.
I wouldn't be either. And at 4, I have sitting there smiling pretty Sam Darnold. And all of a sudden, the Browns have their quarterback of the future and the best overall player in Saquon Barkley. So I went with Sam Darnold falling all the way to 4. I don't think the Jets or the Giants are high on him. I think they both either, one wants Rosen or, like you said, Baker Mayfield is a huge plus for the Jets. But I have Darnold going here at 4. You add the quarterback to the future. Now you add a weapon of the future. They just gave Landry a big contract extension. You have Josh Gordon finally putting down the devil's lettuce.
Right.
You have a great tight end. And what's his name? Njoku?
Yeah, David Njoku.
Yep. David Njoku, yeah. So they if you give them Saquon and you give Darnold, I mean, these guys are the future. And it gives you a point to where it puts you in a good position with Tyrod, too, to where if they need to continue mentoring the quarterback position, he can still be there. But that's dangerous because I do not think Sam Darnold and Tyrod Taylor have a whole lot in common at the quarterback position. I think Tyrod he's a better passer than Michael Vick, but Michael Vick maybe had better wheels and moves.
I agree. Yep.
But Tyrod still is slippery out of the pocket. I think that's what Cleveland needs, losing
sure.
Joe Thomas. And, he's going to be under pressure this year. Their line is going to be a work in progress. But,
I still think they're going to have a top 10 line. They spent a lot of money on that line. Obviously, losing a Hall of Fame left tackle hurts.
Yes.
Obviously. But the guys that they plugged into left tackle last year actually weren't that bad. Their offensive line wasn't the reason that they struggled. Deshaun Kaiser holding on the football for like 7 seconds at a time, that was a problem. However, Deshaun Kaiser was not ready.
Very true.
And I do not think Brock Osweiler is a good quarterback. I think Osweiler stinks. I think he's terrible. But he should have been the quarterback last year. Or Cody Kessler.
We all know this pick was a salary dump for the Texans.
Oh, absolutely.
They wanted out.
For sure.
They realized what happened. Cleveland said, we got the cap space for it, but hey, you're going to pay for it with a draft pick.
Absolutely.
Next thing you know, here we are, and the Browns got 2 in the top 5.
That's right.
So go ahead, give me your 5 with the Denver Broncos.
Number 5, I have the Denver Broncos taking Josh Rosen.
Ooh, okay.
This one to me was difficult. This one and the Arizona Cardinals, when we get to them, were probably my 2 hardest because the Broncos can go in so many different ways. For me, the Broncos need a cornerback because Aqib Talib is gone.
Yep.
They need an edge rusher, they need an offensive lineman, they need a tight end, and they need a wide receiver. But I also think they need a quarterback because they just don't have one. Let's be honest, Peyton Manning is my all-time favorite football player.
Okay.
When Peyton Manning was there, he was not a good quarterback. He was washed up. He was carried in that Super Bowl win. And as much as I love Peyton Manning, I will 100% admit he was carried that entire game. So Paxton Lynch, I don't think is the answer. I think they need a quarterback. And I think with Bradley Chubb being gone, this is another situation I think they could trade out.
You think Denver, with all these holes, trades out of number 5?
But they can go corner. They can go a lot of different ways. I just think they need their defense is still good with Von Miller obviously coming off the edge. You always have that threat.
Yep.
I think what the Denver Broncos are going to do is get just a complete reset. I guess not a complete reset because their defense is still going to be good, but I think they're going to have faith in their draft process, draft defense second round, and go with the quarterback here and take possibly who could be the best quarterback in the draft. Okay,
so let me hit on that real quick, why I think Denver needs to avoid quarterback. Not that you're wrong, obviously, like we said, none of us are right. Now, they drafted Paxton Lynch in the first round, pretty high up, okay? Well, I should rephrase that. It was late.
It was late first round, yeah.
Yeah, because they've been pretty dominant out there in the AFC West. But they also have Trevor Siemian, right? And they also still have Brock, Ozenweiler. So they got 3 guys that have played in the same system for 2+ years. Do you really want to throw in another young guy into that quarterback race? They're already eating money on all those contracts. The last thing you want to do is admit that Paxton Lynch. Trevor Siemian, though, he's a late round draft guy. I don't think we have any worries about him. But I could see them going quarterback here because John Elway runs the team and he's the go-to quarterback for them franchise wise. But I have them actually taking a guard to protect Paxton Lynch or Simeon, whoever they decide. I have them taking the gentleman out of Notre Dame, Quentin Nelson. All right, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you know what I mean? They need a guard right now. They don't really have a lot, second string depth-wise, for their offensive line. In guard, I believe they don't have anybody looking at the depth chart. Okay, so they got one guy in J.J. Dillman, but still, they need a guard of the future. And I still think Paxton Lynch has gotten the raw deal there. He hasn't had enough time, and the offense has been just shredded. I like C.J. Anderson and Devontae Booker, but neither dudes can stay healthy. Right. And the line's a mess, so why not just improve the line and see what these guys got?
Yep. What do you got at 6?
All right, 6 for your Indianapolis Colts. I have them. They need a running back, offensive lineman, wide receiver, corner, tight end, D end.
Every position, basically, in the lineup.
Okay, so I have them taking Roquan Smith. Okay, and let me tell you why. All right, the Colts. All right, they have the offense of weapons. They have T.Y. I know they need a running back, but I just don't think 6 is right for a running back.
I agree 100%.
I think you got to have faith in Andrew Luck. You don't draft a quarterback that sends a wrong message.
Absolutely not.
I think it's too early to reach on a corner for them, and I think it's a little. And like I said, the best Bradley Chubb's gone. I think right here.
He's gone. I agree. He's gone. Either way.
I honestly, if they don't make the trade with the Jets, I think they stay at 3 and take Bradley Chubb.
Yep, I agree.
I think they were unsure if that would pan out in their system. But like I said, I have him taking Roquan Smith because you can plug him, boom, right in there. He's a starter, and in 2 years he takes over a captain position for the defense. Who do you got for your Colts at 6?
I actually have a trade. This is my first trade of the draft, and this is the only trade of my mock draft. I have the Colts trading back with the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh.
So at number 6, I have the Buffalo Bills taking quarterback Josh Allen out of Wyoming.
Nice.
Josh Allen, as much as I love Baker Mayfield, I love the potential of Josh Allen.
Yes.
They say he fixes accuracy issues. They said it was a footwork thing, which it very well could be. Being a pitcher, if your footwork is not correct, you're throwing the ball all over the place. It's proven time and time again with pitchers. I'm not a quarterback expert. I did not play football growing up, so me trying to analyze the quarterback position, saying what footwork is 100% the problem, I couldn't tell you that. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. But if that is indeed the case, there's nobody who has a better arm. There's nobody who's bigger, stronger.
Agreed.
He's mobile. In Buffalo, if they can just give him a year or two. Now, I think he's the most raw quarterback. I think he needs a lot of time. If the Buffalo Bills can get somebody in there that can just hold him off for a year, maybe even 2. And I know Bills fans are going to hate it because they're going to stink for a couple years.
Oh, yeah.
But if they can get Josh Allen ready, he is a complete difference maker. And playing in Wyoming, which is even colder than Cleveland, I think, being up in Buffalo in the snow, I don't think he'll have any problems throwing that.
And I agree with you on this pick. If Buffalo were to make that trade, I see that being a very plausible draft pick. I'm a huge Josh Allen fan, and I want him to fall to the Ravens at 17. That's not going to happen. I know someone's going to take him by then, and I'm more looking towards Lamar Jackson. But like I said, you're completely right about Josh Allen. Everything you said about him with the cold weather in Buffalo. Unfortunately, he does need to sit behind someone, and I don't think who's their starter up there now. Is it Peterman or?
I think it is Peterman since they traded Tyrod Taylor.
Exactly. So,
but now could they go out and get I don't know Josh McCown's contract situation, but do they go out and sign him for a year, or do they go out and get? Or you know what? I'm sorry, I'm incorrect. They signed AJ McCarron.
That is very right. Yes. Oh man. See. And here's another thing we got to take in consideration. When we're looking at these draft projections and we're doing our research and everything, okay, we're bound to miss certain things. Late signings. We just overlook certain things. Honestly, to me, A.J. McCarron is going to be a wash. I would have laughed if Cleveland would have been able to get that deal
I like
done.
A.J. McCarron.
I
like A.J. McCarron. Now, do I think he's an all-star superstar? No. I don't think he's a future quarterback. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to win you a Super Bowl.
Okay.
I just don't think that. But I do like him because he's a gamer and he comes out in clutch.
Okay.
So if he would ever get into the playoffs, I'm not saying he could win.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be a tough loss. He put Cincinnati in a good position to win that playoff game a couple years ago.
You're right.
He's the only quarterback at Alabama that I could stomach. And when Alabama went on that run, that was the only thing I could take watching Alabama win was because I liked A.J. McCarron so much.
I like looking at his girlfriend during that whole run that they always talked about. So.
That they did. That was funny.
I will give him that.
I don't think he's going to make Buffalo better. I think him and Tyrod Taylor, like you said, it's a wash.
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit different quarterbacks, obviously, because Tyrod can run and A.J. McCarron's more of a pro-style quarterback with the passing. Yes. So I think Buffalo will have basically the same season that they had last year.
Side random fact before you finish, my friend. Wide receivers, the least productive wide receivers in the league, were in Buffalo last year.
True that.
Calvin Benjamin, Zay Jones.
Calvin Benjamin just can't catch. He's got a case of the dropsies.
Dude, he's eating too many big backs before games, dude.
I agree.
I like Calvin Benjamin as a big-bodied receiver. I just don't know if he's going to stay healthy, which I think Carolina won that trade when they sent him there.
For sure.
Yes, and go ahead and go 7 with Tampa Bay, too. Let me hear you saying you're going to take Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers are taking cornerback Denzel Ward out of Ohio State.
We agree on one. Yeah. Go ahead, star it.
Star that pick. Here's why I have them taking him. Denzel Ward, even though he's smaller than Minkah Fitzpatrick, he is the best press corner in this draft. You may say that I'm a Buckeye homer. I'll give you that. But Denzel Ward, it's not just me saying it, it's all the draft experts are saying he is the best cover corner in the league. You have Vernon Hargreaves over there in Tampa Bay. Yes. Why not lock it down, have somebody in the secondary alongside him that can shut down maybe like a Pittsburgh Steelers who have Antonio Brown, who have J.J. Smith-Schuster. You have all those, or Juju Smith-Schuster. You have teams that are going to be going 2 good wide receivers. Why not have 2 good corners to lock it down?
Totally agree with you. Austin hit everything on the head. My perspective looking at this is I look at the division, the AFC South, all right? You're going against Drew Brees, Cam Newton, and Matty Ice.
Lots of good quarterbacks on that
list. So,
yeah,
you got to match up with Julio. Michael Thomas, I believe, is down in New Orleans. And then Carolina really doesn't scare me.
They don't have a superstar receiver anymore.
No, they don't. And I always thought, I did think Calvin was going to be it until he showed up at camp overweight, and then his production just declined. It is very hard, I will say, I guess, to be a big-time wide receiver with Cam. He's never really had a big-time wide receiver. I mean, I love this pick for Tampa Bay, too, because it solidifies the defense that's already solid. I mean, you got McCoy, you got Golston, you got Levante David at linebacker, like you said, Hargreaves, and the safeties are a little suspect, but if you got two great corners in coverage.
You can hide that.
Exactly.
You're always going to have a hole. Everybody on every team is going to get a hole. You can't pay everybody.
Right. And as much as I hate Ohio State, I think he honestly showed why he, like you said, he's a little small, but off the line, the jams, his speed, everything. The only kid I like more than him at corner in this draft is the kid out of Iowa, Jackson.
Yeah, he's good.
He's awesome too, and he's a little bit more lengthy, but he doesn't quite have Ward's speed. So as long as he's not another Eli Apple and creates a locker room controversy.
What a bust. I thought Eli Apple was going to be great.
I did
because I think Eli Apple is more talented than Denzel Ward, just with the length, the speed. I think he was the same way at Ohio State, but man, I think he still can be, but his want and his desire to play football is just not there, and it's just heartbreaking. It really is.
I think he was a young kid who went in the draft. They gave him a bunch of money, and unfortunately,
and then blew it.
Yeah, I think it got a little
timid. Now he's a cancer.
Yes, and
so
now, you're seeing that in the Giants locker room.
Yeah,
they got rid of everybody else but him because they vested so much into him.
Right.
And that's a problem for me. So I'll go ahead and I'll lead with number 8, the Chicago Bears, since we both agreed there. The Bears need a wide receiver, offensive tackle, corner, tight end. I have them right here plucking Calvin Ridley from Alabama.
I like that pick.
And I'll tell you why. Mitch Trubisky needs weapons. The Bears, they have Jordan Howard at running back, who's solid. They have Kevin White, who's coming back from injury last year. So you need to give Mitch Trubisky something else. Mitch, he played, honestly, on all the rookie quarterbacks last year.
I didn't think he played bad.
I don't think so either. I think the defense was suspect.
Yeah,
and
the Bears need a lot.
There was a basic offensive scheme designed, and they stuck to it.
Yes.
And instead of really letting him show what he had, I mean, I did watch. I believe the Bears beat like the Steelers and the Ravens last year.
Right.
So the talent's there. I think Mitch Trubisky. I think honestly, the Browns are going to regret that one because he's a Cleveland guy.
They should have traded up to number 2.
Yes, and they should have snagged him. But he's going to do great things. You give him Calvin Ridley. Hopefully the offense continues to progress. What do you got for the Bears at 8?
I have them taking Quentin Nelson from Notre Dame.
Oh, nice.
And I would love the Colts to have him because we need an offensive line help to keep Andrew Luck. But with that trade, he's not falling out of the top 10. Quentin Nelson is the most surefire thing out of the entire draft. He is the one guy that you can plug into anybody's system, anywhere you want, and he just doesn't give up sacks.
I agree with you.
He can just create monster holes in the run. I think him falling to Chicago, going with what you said, I think Calvin Ridley is good here because I think he's the best all-around receiver in the draft. But just me personally, I like the fact of keeping Mitch Trubisky upright, keeping him safe, all that fun stuff.
Protection is key.
That's right. So even if, I don't know, you can always upgrade the offensive line. So if you can get a surefire guy, plug him in there on the left side, you don't have to worry about him anymore.
Okay.
Sitting at number 9 with the San Francisco 49ers, I have them taking possibly the second best pass rusher in this draft, Tremaine Edwards from Virginia Tech.
Ooh.
I think they need a lot of help. In San Francisco, I have them needing an edge, offensive guard. Obviously, on mine with Quentin Nelson gone, they're not going to be able to get him. They need offensive line, defensive line help. I mean, they need a lot. They need corners, receivers, tight ends.
Yep.
But they do have Jimmy G, and they do have that quarterback that they believe in.
Yes, they do.
So I think with having that franchise quarterback there, why not get your franchise guy on the defensive side and go get the opposing quarterback?
And I could see them going linebacker there. I have them actually coming up, and like you said, they need another edge. You can never have enough edges. It goes with the same thing with the Cleveland Browns. I think the 49ers and the Browns have two of the best young defensive lines in the NFL. But I have them coming up and taking a little bit of a reach here. Marcus Davenport. I think he's a freak as a physical specimen at the DM position. I think you can line him up inside and outside. And, I like John Lynch. I think he's made good moves. I think he's going to continue to try to press that defense. I think he knows that whoever plays with Jimmy G is going to be good, and Jimmy G is going to make you better, as we saw last year. He did that with Garcon and Goodwin. Like you said, I have them needing a D-end, a corner, a running back, a wide receiver, line help. I mean, they do need a whole bunch. They are also one of my teams that I could see trying to trade up because of their need for a running back. I think if someone was going to make a move on Saquon Barkley,
it would be them.
I have
agree.
San
Yep,
Francisco.
100%.
And the last thing I need to see is Saquon catching balls from Jimmy G
I know.
and return the 49ers to prominence because
know.
we've already seen almost 2 decades of the 49ers in the 80s and 90s of being great.
Yeah, and I don't want any team from California winning, but we're just going to leave that at that.
That's a separate podcast.
We're just going to leave that there. All right, so who you got at 10? Who you got
10,
the Raiders taking?
The Oakland Raiders. Okay, so the Raiders they're interesting to me because last year, they went 6-10, but the year before that they were 12-4.
That was such a deceiving year last year.
Yes, and honestly, a lot of it had to do with Derek Carr's injury.
Yep.
And some of the offensive guys not panning out. Obviously, with no Michael Crabtree there anymore, there's a gap at wide receiver. They need linebacker, defensive tackle, DBs, and offensive tackle. I have them coming up here and taking a safety because I believe their defense is one of their strong suits, but they do have holes.
Hold on, before you get that, I also have them picking a defensive back.
Would his last name be Johnson?
It is not.
Okay, so
at least we have the same kind of group going.
Same mindset. Okay, I have them taking Derwan Johnson, FSU guy. I think he can get plugged in there immediately with the free safety position open. They don't really have a centerpiece there, and at 10, they're in a position to do a lot of different things.
They are.
But the defense, I think. I could see them sticking right here with Ridley if he's available, but I honestly believe they need to fix the defense first.
I agree.
The later rounds, there's a ton of wide receivers that are that could get plugged in there. You know what I mean? Like a Deshaun Hamilton would be great here with Derek Carr. So who do you have them taking at safety at 10?
This is where I have them taking Minkah Fitzpatrick, just because of the versatility. He can play safety, he can play corner. Obviously, they're going to lock down whichever one he's going to play. But just his ability to do both, I think Oakland's going to love it. And then whatever they finish up with the draft, whatever they do in finish up with in free agency, they can plug him in wherever they need him to be, and he's going to be a good player for him. Over in 11, Miss Laurel's Miami Dolphins. They need some help with Ndamukong Suh going to be gone. I'm going to have them taking an edge. Marcus Davenport from UTSA. Taking maybe a little bit of a gamble on a guy from a lesser-known college, but he has a lot of talent. He can get to the quarterback, and with Ndamukong Suh gone and never really panning out in Miami, I still think they want that guy. However, I would not be surprised if they go quarterback.
I could see that too with Tannehill being suspect and everyone's worried about his knee. I actually have them taking Fitzpatrick here.
Okay.
So a little bit of a swap here. I just feel like the Dolphins need help everywhere, man. From corner to linebacker to guard to tight end to wide receiver after trading Laundry. So many pieces you could plug in this position. I just honestly think that they would like to add a little more defensive help. Because if not, they're going to give up 40 points again.
Oh, absolutely. All right, who do you got at 12 with Buffalo?
With Buffalo, all right, I actually have them taking a linebacker here. Tremaine Edwards, we talked about Buffalo a little bit. You had them trading up. They need a quarterback, wide receiver, defensive tackle, linebacker. And let me tell you why I have them taking Tremaine Edwards. Because they can wait on a quarterback. I think they can get a guy late round, or they're like I said, they're one of those teams that are going to trade up. And I think when it comes down to it, you need to add defense in there because Tremaine Jackson's a beast, and I would love to see him fall. Like I said, I got a lot of love prospects for the Ravens, but I think he's one of those guys you just plug in and start. Tremaine Jackson. I mean, he goes in a lot of different places there. Inside guy. I could see them even pushing back or trading up here. It just really depends on what you want to go with the flavor of the week for the management style.
That's right.
So who do you have at 12?
Again, I made that trade with the Bills going up to 6. So at number 12, my Indianapolis Colts. This is going to be another one we agree on. Linebacker Roquan Smith from Georgia.
There we go.
Possibly
Nice.
the best linebacker in this draft. The Colts needed a linebacker. As much as I would love Bradley Chubb, and as like I have already stated, I was irritated with the trade at first. We do have John Simon, who played in a 4-3. The Colts are switching to a 4-3. Finally, thank God, I love the 4-3. I don't have a problem with the 3-4, but we just needed to get away from that. We needed to spice things up here on defense. So going to a 4-3, Jabal Sheard, I mean, the guy, he's probably the most underrated pass rusher, probably in the league. He's so versatile. He can play the 3-4. He was great in the 4-3 here in Cleveland. I think he's going to be great here in Indianapolis. He was great last year for Indianapolis. He's going to be great again. John Simon, hopefully he's going to be healthy. We got another pass rusher with him. And then I think putting a captain of the defense right there. We've been needing a linebacker for a long time. So I think that's just an ideal fit there in Indianapolis.
I could agree with it, and I think that would be a smart move. I'm glad we both agreed
Yep.
that Smith's going to end up. Yep, that's 2 in a row. Well, technically it's not the same
pick,
same
yeah,
player.
same player.
We're counting it.
Correct.
Don't give us crap, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
13, I have my NFC team I root for, the Washington Redskins. I have them taking... Well, let me explain my pick before I say why. They need a DB, a wide receiver, running back, offensive linebacker. Having Alex Smith there, what do you think Alex Smith could use? A shiny new toy, right, to throw to?
Yep.
All right, well, I got them going ahead and taking Christian Kirk here. I think with Ridley already off the board for me, he already went earlier at 9. I think the next best wide receiver is Kirk. And Alex Smith is going to need someone to catch the ball for him. Right now, Terrell Pryor didn't pan out. There's not a wide receiver a lot of people can name on the Redskins.
Right.
So if you go ahead and plug him in there, you give Alex Smith at least an option.
Yeah, somebody to throw the ball to.
Exactly. So who do you have the Redskins taking at 13?
I like that pick. I have them taking safety Derwin James from Florida State. They need a lot of defensive back help. I'm selling to the ideal that defense wins championships, and it always will. Even though last year's Super Bowl was like 50 points. But I still think defense will win you games, and I think the Redskins, even though they got Alex Smith, they're still going to be looking for their franchise quarterback because Alex Smith is getting older. I still don't know if – I guess they're going to be putting in a win-now mode, but were they even really in win-now mode with Kirk Cousins? So I think they're going to go defense here with a safety pick. At 14, I have the Green Bay Packers taking Calvin Ridley. I have him falling a little bit for this reason. Like I have stated before, I think he's the best receiver in this draft. However, he kind of peaked in college. Not peaked talent-wise, but peaked in hype. Because he was so highly touted coming out. And in Alabama, he never really had a quarterback. I mean, obviously there was a quarterback there, but they were running backs throwing him the football. So he never really stood out. He kind of was just like a plain Jane running back. Kind of like receiver. Kind of like Amari Cooper was. And I think if Amari Cooper would have had a good receiver, he would have went up in the draft boards instead of falling down.
Yes.
I think Calvin Ridley's going to have the Amari Cooper effect, and getting Aaron Rodgers back and them losing Jordy Nelson, Calvin Ridley's going right into that spot is huge.
And see, Jordy now over there in Oakland. We didn't mention that when we were talking about the Raiders, but I still don't think a Jordy Nelson over with Derek Carr. He's just not what he was.
No, he's too old.
Injury prone. I have the Packers reaching up here. I know they need offensive line help. Linebackers, tight end, DBs, wide receivers. So I have them going ahead and filling a line spot. I have them taking Connor Williams, an offensive tackle. You only got Aaron Rodgers for a couple more years. So why not protect him? Get some new talent in there. Put some beef in there. They need help on the line. They need to establish a running game now losing Jordy Nelson. So I think the Packers need to build the line. Now, Arizona is next at 15, all right? A lot of people are going to hate my pick, all right? Because I, like you, believe defense wins championships, and no matter how many passing yards quarterbacks get in the NFL, I still think your defense, when it comes, push to shove, you build around it. Arizona is one of those teams that needs everything. They are going to have a horrible year this year. They need a quarterback, a wide receiver, lineman, tight end, DB, linebackers. Patrick Peterson's getting old, and right here I have them trying to figure out a defensive move, and they take Gerard Alexander out of Louisville. I like his skill set. I like him maybe, learn under the greats and Patrick Peterson. He's probably one of the best in the 2000s coverage corner. And I think, they lost the Honey Badger too. So overall DB for them is suspect. And why not go ahead and plug away and add another corner and a pass-heavy NFC West? Who do you got Cardinals?
I agree with you. Going defensive back, cornerback, Josh Jackson, Iowa, Honey Badger gone. I mean, I don't even have to reiterate. You hit it right on the head. They needed defensive help. So I think they're going to go corner. Whichever corner they think is the best one, they're going to go corner. At 16, halfway through, your Baltimore Ravens, I have them taking Rashaan Evans from Alabama.
Oh, nice.
Again,
Tell me why.
Again, possibly one of the best linebackers of the draft. I feel like you guys need a linebacker there. You need a captain on the defense. Something that you've been missing since Ray Lewis. I think that's the way to go. Get you another linebacker of the future.
I agree with you. Here is where, I can kind of, perk up a little bit. I agree with you. We need a linebacker to replace Terrell Suggs. We also need a whole bunch more, buddy. We need a wide receiver help. Everyone said, oh, you got Crabtree, you might get Des Bryant. That doesn't mean anything. I love them. They would get Deshaun Hamilton in the second round. We both know that probably won't happen. They need another tight end now that Ben Watson's gone and Max Williams washed out. They need guard help. But here I have the Ravens taking the quarterback of the future. I have a prayer that Josh Allen falls to 16. Like you said, he fits that prototypical quarterback who can play in cold weather. And Joey Flacco getting old, soaking up cap space. He's got a bad back. He's one or two hits away from maybe possibly being done. So I have them taking the quarterback of the future at 16. A lot of people I've read, have said Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield.
That was going to be my question before we moved on. How do you feel about Lamar Jackson? Because I think he's going to stink.
And with this being Ozzy's last year as GM before he passed it over to DaCosta, I could see them doing that, but I also have the Ravens as that team trading out of the first round to gain another pick late in the draft. Lamar Jackson, you're great, man. You got an awesome skill set. You remind me a lot of your predecessor, Teddy Bridgewater. Unfortunately, I just don't think that style translates in the NFL.
I agree.
Baker Mayfield might be the exception because I see Drew Brees all over Baker Mayfield.
I agree 100%.
He's tiny, but his field vision and his arm strength is like he's 6'4". So, like I said, I will be upset if they draft Lamar Jackson here. Just for the sole fact is I don't think that fits Harbaugh's scheme offensively, and I don't think Lamar Jackson's your quarterback of the future. I don't think he's gonna.
Will he translate in the cold weather up there in Baltimore?
Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson. I'm sorry.
No,
Jackson.
I do not think. And if he does, unlike Teddy Bridgewater, who has a nice dome.
Yeah.
Ravens don't have a dome. You play outdoors. And a lot of the highlights from Lamar Jackson to me, he dazzles with his feet. But when you go to the NFL, everybody's just as fast. You have the best players. You're not playing against your Charleston Southerns or your Kentucky Wildcats. Like, you're playing against the best, period, in the NFL. So I don't really want him in Baltimore. And everyone's like, oh, you're making it personal. Like, no, I just don't think he fits the scheme for the franchise. 17, I have the LA Chargers. Someone I think we both have that's dropped, that's highly rated. I have the Chargers needing an offensive lineman, linebacker, quarterback, and defensive tackle. I have them taking Maurice Hurt. Is it Hurt or Hust from Michigan? Hust. Okay, yeah. So I have them taking him from Michigan. Great defensive tackle. I think he's highly rated, too. I think he's a top 10 rated by most people. Absolutely. I just don't see a lot of teams.
Maurice Hurst. Maurice Hurst.
Yeah. I have him from Michigan going to the Chargers. And I know Chargers fans need a quarterback of the future because Phillip Rivers is getting old, just like Eli, because they were in the same draft class. But I really think the Chargers are one or two defensive players away from sneaking in a wild card. And then, Keenan Allen is a monster.
He sure is.
So I think Phillip Rivers, I think they can continue to address the offense in late rounds. I think here you go get defense. You?
I have the Chargers taking offensive tackle Mike McGlinchey from
Notre Dame.
Possibly one of the best, probably the best offensive tackle in this draft. Probably the only guy in this draft that can transfer to a left tackle, which is going to be hard to hear in Cleveland because you probably don't have your left tackle in the future here. But I think just about for the same reasons. You got to keep Phillip Rivers healthy and clean. And as soon as they can get their quarterback in the future, you might as well pair him with an offensive tackle and they can go down the road together. I think that's going to be about it with Keenan Allen still tearing up the league.
Yep.
I think you got to keep Phillip Rivers healthy. I know that they're picking at 17, But that team has so much potential already with
Yes.
Joey Bosa coming off the line. Phillip Rivers is still, I think he's a very underrated quarterback. Do I think he's going to win a Super Bowl? I think he really could. I think he has a skill set to do that. I don't think he ever will. But I think the Chargers have to give him at least some protection to give him that chance to finally pull it off. So I'm going to go offensive tackle.
Totally agree with you. I could see it happening there.
18 with the Seattle Seahawks. Richard Sherman gone. It only makes sense to go defensive back, right? So I'm going to take Mike Hughes out of UCF. Somebody to replace Richard Sherman. Good cornerback. A lot of good corners in this draft. I saw a lot of good corners in this draft. So I'm going to have them taking a quarterback to replace Richard Sherman.
Totally agree with you. My selection is Josh Jackson. So
there we go.
Yeah, we're both at the corner mindset. Richard Sherman's gone. Legion of Boom needing to retool the defense. The Seahawks need a lineman, a running back, DN, tight end, linebacker. I mean, it's not looking good for them. Unfortunately, they locked Russell Wilson up, but what else have they added besides
Nothing. And they just lost Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham was huge. Not his whole time in Seattle, but last year he showed flashes.
Sure did.
I could also see them going tight end here
I
and
could
taking
too.
Hurst out of South Carolina. But like we both agree on, they got to go corner. You got to replace Sherman. They need someone to plug in to start,
Absolutely.
whether it's Jackson, whether it's whoever else.
They need to stop the bleeding. They need to stop the bleeding.
Yes, because if not, they're going to find themselves in the bottom of the NFC West.
Yep, very quickly.
The Chargers, they improved 49ers. Let's not get ahead of ourselves because Arizona's going to be pretty bad
Arizona's
this year.
Pretty bad.
19, the Dallas Cowboys, who need about everything, in my opinion.
Same thing, except they don't need a running back. They have a good running back. That's about all they got, and a good line.
Zeke, yeah, and I'm not sold on Dak.
I'm not either.
I think they need to add more linemen. The Cowboys have one of the best lines in the league, but they're getting older. And the shelf life losing Des Bryant. Now you think, they need a wide receiver. I have them taking actually a linebacker though, because the defense is just so bad for Dallas. I mean, everybody scores on them. I have them taking Harold Landry over here as a linebacker. Somebody they can plug in. Like I said, he's a starter right away. You don't got to worry about it. A lot of people will say, they need a wide receiver to replace Dez. Yeah, they do. So I could also see them going Cortland Sutton here, a local product out of SMU. Who do you have the Cowboys taking at 19, my friend?
Again, I'm going defense with you. Defensive tackle Maurice Hurst from Michigan.
Okay.
Possibly one of the best defensive tackles in the draft. Cowboys need just about everything on defense. Might as well take one of the best ones here. So I think that's what they're going to do there at 19. At 20 with the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
I think they need defense as well, and I have them taking Harold Landry right here. So I was not that far away from where you were.
We're not. Detroit Lions for me, buddy. They're one of those teams I think they can trade back and get picks if they really want to.
Yeah.
They need they need a center, they need a defensive lineman and a linebacker. I actually have them taking Billy Price, the best center in the game. I believe he's a Buckeye, isn't he?
Sure is.
Okay, so
here's my qualm with Billy Price. I don't think he's going to be good as a center in the NFL.
Okay.
I think if somebody puts him as a center, I think he's going to struggle. Maybe he'll figure it out. But Billy Price, he was great at Ohio State as a center, but that's college.
True.
Now you're getting bigger, faster defensive ends and defensive tackles. When he got that at Ohio State, he struggled a little bit. He's better served as a guard.
Yes. Agree with you there.
Go ahead, finish up your statement.
All right. So basically, like I said, Billy Price there they need, but I also have them. They could also trade out. Detroit. They need to protect Stafford. He's the future.
Yep.
He's going to be there his whole career, I think. And they have him set up with the weapons they've already drafted and signed in free agency. I just don't see anybody that they can add offensively to help them except line help. And that's why I have Billy Price. Defense, they can address later in rounds because they do have their starters. Their defensive line is in shambles, but I don't know if they want to – I don't know who they would take. With all the major edge guys off the board, it's hard for them. They're also a team I could see either trading back or trading up for the sole fact they need edge help.
Yep, I agree.
So who do you have Lions taking?
Harold Landry.
Harold Landry. Oh, that's right. We were right there. Sorry. Bypassed me. I must have been
you're
checking
good.
the
You're
cast
good.
score.
You're good.
21st overall, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. They need a linebacker, corner, tight end, defensive tackle, center. Who you got them drafting here?
This one, is going to maybe not make so much sense, but I'll explain it here in a minute. The Cincinnati Bengals just got Cordy Glenn from that trade with Buffalo.
Okay.
I think they're going to solidify the other side of the offensive tackle and taking Colton Miller from UCLA. Get both sides of your line down.
Okay.
Keep Andy Dalton upright. Possibly keep him healthy. The Bengals think he can win them a Super Bowl. So if they think that, you got to give him line help. I think that's the way they're going to go. Keep him up healthy. I don't think he's the quarterback that's going to win you a Super Bowl, but he is their quarterback, so I think they're going to go line.
There. I could see them trying to strengthen the line too. I have them going on the defensive route, and I have them taking Daron Payne.
Okay.
So their defense is their strong suit to me. They put a lot of draft picks into their defense. They need to force more turnovers to help Andy Dalton because Andy Dalton is a turnover machine, is. But they need that middle D-line help. They already have an impressive defense. I think you add Daron Payne there, all of a sudden you got another guy up the middle coming for quarterbacks' heads. 22 belongs to the Buffalo Bills, which we've already talked about because Austin had them with moving up in the draft. We had them already with one pick selection here. I have them taking Vita Vea, the defensive tackle.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Yep, and I could see that already with them taking a linebacker. You add a DT, and all of a sudden you might have some defensive cooking up there in Buffalo. Who do you have Buffalo taking there at 22, buddy?
Well, with that trade, I think the Buffalo Bills have to include a first rounder here. So I think the Colts are going to be picking here at 22. But we're going to be just about on the same wavelength. I have the Colts taking defensive tackle Taven Bryan from Florida.
Ooh.
For my mock draft, you have your linebacker. As I've already said, you have John Simon and Jabal Sheard. Why not strengthen that interior defense that you really don't have, that's kind of non-existent right now? And I know we can go offensive line. I don't really like the offensive tackles in this draft. And because of that fact, you go defensive tackle, get Taven Bryan, get somebody who can be a stalwart up on the defensive line for you.
Yes.
I like Vita Vea. I just don't trust Pac-12 defensive players, to be honest with you.
And, is it really hard to blame after watching a certain someone get washed out of Cleveland and sent to...
See, I actually like Danny Shelton. I didn't think he was that bad. I think the purpose that he filled... I think he was overrated, but I think he was a good run stopper. Now, pass rusher, he's non-existent. He's a terrible pass rusher. Run stopper, though, I think that's where his strength is. But again, I give Danny Shelton a C. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's terrible. I think he's one of those guys who's going to be going from team to team to team. Let's put it that way.
I agree with you. Dog Pound Drunkard, if you're listening to me, you know Danny Shelton was a terrible draft pick.
Yeah.
23, I have the New England Patriots, and I have them taking Cortland Sutton right here to address the wide receiver issues. They got to give Brady something else to work with, man. We don't know how Edelman's going to be. Everyone says, his surgery was successful. But they have Gronk, who's getting double teamed.
But is Gronk even going to be back this year? Because he hasn't said one way. I think he's coming back. Yeah. But he has not said one way or another whether he's retiring or returning.
I think Gronk comes back. I think he plays with Brady until the end of Brady's career, and then I think he hangs his cleats up, which is smart for these guys.
Yeah, I agree.
It's hard on their bodies. We're not judging Gronk in any other aspect, but who do you have the Patriots taking at 23?
I have them with Malcolm Butler leaving, and I still think they need a quarterback in the future because I think this is Tom Brady's last year.
Yep.
I have them taking cornerback Jair Alexander from Louisville, filling that need, plug-and-play guy, a guy who can be a star for him, as much as it pains me to say that. Just somebody who can fill Malcolm Butler, because I think that was the biggest mistake Belichick made in that Super Bowl, was not playing Malcolm Butler.
Agree with you.
So I think they're going to fill his spot now that he's gone.
Okay, I could see that there too. They need a little bit of everything too in New England. I mean, not on the scale of everyone else, but Belichick's got a system of guys he uses, but there are talent issues in New England for the first time in a while, I'm starting to see. 24 with the Carolina Panthers. They need a wide receiver, a corner, a safety, a D lineman. I'm going to go ahead and say they take a corner here. They need DB help. I'm going to have Isaiah Oliver taken right here. One of the better, smaller corners. I just don't think, like I said, wide receivers you can address in the second round if you're Carolina. Safeties, the big guys are off the board already, and at that point it becomes a chess match between wanting a DB, corner, defensive lineman, and I think they need to just get the best available corner, who at this point, me and you both have drafted corners heavy in our mocks in the first round. Isaiah Oliver gives them what they need. Who do you have the Panthers taking at 24?
I have them taking Arden Key from LSU.
Okay.
I think with Cam Newton being the quarterback, and again, I'm going to say this over and over and over again, if your quarterback's the most important position on offense, your most important player on defense is either arguably a linebacker, an inside linebacker, or a pass rusher. And I think with the Panthers going pass rusher, they already have Luke Kuechly there. Pair him with a guy who can just go get him.
I agree.
Let him turn him loose.
High motor guy he is.
Yep.
25 for the Titans. Who do you have them taking, buddy?
Defensive tackle Vita Vea from Washington.
Even though we don't like Pac-12 defensive linemen, the Titans are one of those teams where the offense is cool.
Yeah, the offense is good.
They don't need any help. It's basically the defense, outside linebacker. They need a guard, inside linebacker. I actually have them taking Rashaan Evans here. If you just plug him in on that defense, all of a sudden their linebacking core immediately skyrockets into being better. And
I agree.
With that being your division with the AFC South, I know the Colts are in a little bit of a rebuild mode, and the Jags surprised by winning the division, and it seems like the Texans have a head start on the rebuild because they have Deshaun Watson. I think right here the Titans are in a power struggle with the Jaguars, and they need to go defense because that is what the Jags are. Who do you have the Titans taking at 25?
Vita Vea.
Vita Vea. I've done that twice.
It's all good. It happens.
I know.
26, though, the Atlanta Falcons. Tight end Hayden Hurst from South Carolina. Give Matty Ice another weapon. Possibly the best pass catcher in this draft. Obviously for a tight end, not so much a receiver-wise, but give him somebody to go along with Julio Jones. Just give him just another weapon. I think that's all Matty Ice needs. They need some defensive help, obviously, but give him another pass catcher. Send him loose. Totally
agree with you. I have the Falcons needing a guard, defensive lineman, running back, DT, corner, wide receiver. The offense is pretty set with weapons. I don't think Atlanta goes offense here. I have them taking that gentleman out of Florida, Tavarian Bryan, the defense tackle. I think he fills the middle for them. That whole AFC South has talent. Everybody is pretty decent with Tampa Bay returning to surgeons basically. Atlanta's got a lot of problems between Carolina and New Orleans. There's a lot of speed there. And with Alvin Kamara being so good and Cam Newton being a rushing quarterback, I think you add another D lineman, someone that goes and gets the ball, and I think he fills that need. 27 is the New Orleans Saints. I have them needing a linebacker, wide receiver, safety, and tight end. Who do you have the Saints going here at 27?
I have them taking a surprise pick.
Okay.
Taking Connor Williams, offensive tackle.
Nice.
I think they want to make one more run with Drew Brees before he's done.
Yep.
Their defense, surprisingly, was actually good last year. They actually had a good running game last year for the first time in probably Saints history, at least in recent history. So I think if they take the offensive tackle, guard that right side, give him more time, and just see if he can't make one final run. Because Drew Brees is getting up there. He's running out of time. So I think they're going to give him one last-ditch effort, upgrade the offensive line, and give him some time to throw.
Totally agree with you. This is the Saints' last hurrah with Drew Brees. A lot of people are saying, hey, they need a quarterback too, which they do. But I have them going tight end right here and taking Hayden Hurst because Ben Watson is about 38, 39.
Right.
And he played with Baltimore last year, and he was productive for us. But I just think you need a tight end with the future here. And unfortunately, Hurst is still available. If the Ravens took him at 17, I wouldn't be mad. But like I said, the Saints need to add another weapon to help them get out of a bind. They have the running backs down. They have wide receiver down. I just think Hayden fits the system here and replaces Ben Watson after a year. 28 belongs to the much-hated Pittsburgh Steelers. They need linebackers inside and out. They need a safety, a tackle. They need a quarterback of the future. And surprisingly, I have running back with the unknown.
With Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell situation.
So who do you got for your dreaded arch rival?
I have them taking linebacker Malik Jefferson.
Okay.
They need another outside guy. He's great. But the defensive line's in pretty good shape. But DBs are problems. And James Harrison walked away. So Steelers have made their living having great linebackers throughout their history. And I think a late first-round pick here, a lot of the good top talented linebackers have been taken. But as we know, the Steelers never are worried about that. They like getting guys that go to work 7 days a week.
Yeah, they sure do.
And that's where I think Jefferson fits in here. So who do you have the Steelers taking at 28?
The Pittsburgh Steelers, and I don't know how they do it every year, they always get a top talent guy that falls to them late in the first round.
Yes.
Somebody that's an anomaly, somebody that's super talented that probably could have been in the top 15, but is always falling to them in the late 20s. I'm going linebacker as well. Pittsburgh Steelers are taking the linebacker, Leighton Vander Esch from Boise State. Like you said, a guy that's going to come to work, put in the work. Mm-hmm. And if Ryan Shazier can come back to full health, they run that 3-4 over there. Why not get two good inside linebackers just to protect it? And if Ryan Shazier can't come back, which, I mean, he's a Buckeye, but even just as a personal level, he's a good guy. You never want to see somebody's career end like that, just playing a game. So I hope, even if you played for Michigan or played for anywhere else, life is obviously more important than sports. So I hope his health is ready, and I hope he can come back. But if he can't, then I think having a linebacker here who's talented is a smart decision to go.
I can agree with you, but I have to disagree on the sports thing. Steelers, you need to suck. You need to go to the basement for 2 decades. I'm sick of hearing about your past rings. You guys find a way to keep your franchise in the top 5 of the AFC every year. And as a Ravens fan, that irritates me because, I'm a hit or miss type of guy with the Birds. We normally split with you guys. They're, we're the division champs. Well, if you split with us, I don't know. It's just a huge rivalry for me between me and my family. I got brothers and a father that are huge Steeler fans. And unfortunately for me, being the black sheep of the family, I was made with some of that Chesapeake water down there. I don't want to see them be good at all. Ryan Shazier, we want you to come back healthy. We want the Steelers to be at the top level, period. Mm-hmm. Like you said, he's a good guy. He's great talent. Nobody wants a career cut short like that. The Jaguars are sitting here at 29, and I have them needing pretty much everything to do offense. Nothing defense.
I agree 100%.
Quarterback, guard, wide
Saxonville
receiver,
has
tight
no
end.
problems on the defensive side.
No, they don't. And I don't know if you saw, they're going back to teal on their jerseys.
Really?
They just switched up the jerseys, so they're all hyped up now.
Yeah.
And with that comes needing wide receivers. Allen Robinson left to go to Chicago.
I'm curious on this because I also have them taking a receiver.
I have them taking a small prospect guy, probably a little bit of a reach. I have them taking wide receiver Anthony Miller.
Okay.
Out of Memphis.
I got you.
I think you got to give. I don't know how.
How did Blake Bortles make it to an AFC title game?
Man.
How is that possible?
In the same breath, we're talking about Trent Dilfer being one of the worst quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl.
He's the worst quarterback to ever make it to an AFC title game.
Yes, and if Saxonville were to win a Super Bowl and he gets a ring,
it is not because of him.
No,
it is like Peyton Manning getting carried in Denver. It's the same situation.
But he goes to the same category as Trent Dilfer.
Yes,
I agree. Worst dude to get a ring.
Yes.
Who do you have Jacksonville taking at 29?
Like I said, wide receiver, taking DJ Moore out of Maryland. Speed guy, playmaker guy. Somebody who's just going to be open all the time. And with Allen Robinson, who was supposed to be that guy, always being hurt or suspended. With him departing, you need another big playmaker there for Blake Bortles or whoever they decide is their quarterback. But I think DJ Moore is a plug-and-play, and they don't miss a beat with Allen Robinson leaving. At 30, the Minnesota Vikings, getting Kirk Cousins was a big thing for them. Everybody kind of figured he was going to go there because they were the team most ready to win, just needed that extra step.
You like that?
Yeah, you like that? So I think at 30, like you said with Alex Smith getting a shiny new toy, I have Minnesota giving Kirk Cousins a shiny new toy with wide receiver Christian Kirk out of Texas A&M.
Oh, that would be so fitting for them to get him. And then you have Kirk, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you have the running back who's back from injury.
Yep. You have an elite receiving core.
Yep.
The guy from Florida State's the running back.
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook, there it is. I knew he played for Florida State. Couldn't pull up the name. Yep. Who do you got Minnesota going with?
I have them protecting their brand new investment and going with the guard, Isaiah Wynn. I feel like you just need to protect Kirk Cousins, and you give him time, he's going to find the open man. I think we're going to see Stephon Diggs blow up.
I do too. He's going to have a huge season.
And that's a separate podcast for fantasy predictions.
Yep, absolutely.
But I definitely think the Vikings are going to be the team to beat in the NFC North. I think they could be the team to beat in the NFC, period. Yep. I think if there's one team to give the Eagles another run for their money again, it's going to be Minnesota now
100%.
with Kirk Cousins. Yep. 31 belongs to the New England Patriots, and I have them going offensive lineman here with Mike McGlarkey. I think anything you can do to help protect Tom Brady in his last 2 years, and with a future quarterback in the next 2 years probably going to come in too, you need to protect him. So I have them going with a tackle here, strengthening the line, maybe helping out the running game a little bit. Who do you have the Pats taking at 31?
I have them taking the franchise quarterback.
Oh, my. Who do you
Mason
have?
Rudolph from Oklahoma State. Reason being, he has the tools to do it.
Okay.
Now, he was in that pass-heavy system. And again, Pac-12 quarterbacks, you never know because of that defense is always so bad that they're playing against.
Yep.
They're always a pass-heavy unless you're Stanford and just run the ball, which is great. But I think Mason Rudolph can do it. I mean, he's big enough to, and he's durable enough to be in the snow, be in the cold, take some hits. I think he could be the next big driving force there in New England.
Okay.
And even if Tom Brady doesn't retire this year, that just gives him more time to sit back and wait, and that is something you just don't want to happen.
No, we don't need that as an
No.
NFL as a whole. I would like to see Brady stop winning
Yes,
Super Bowl rings.
I agree.
He has enough.
Yep.
He is restructured, resurfaced with the franchise, and I just, he will always be known as the guy that went from the 6th round to multiple Super Bowl wins.
And I'm just going to say this right now. Tom Brady is the most overrated quarterback in NFL history, but we'll get in that another day.
Yes, that'll be a whole show in itself. System quarterback.
Yep,
But anyways,
system quarterback.
I have
100%.
32, the Philadelphia Eagles. Not really needing as much as most teams. They did lose some guys in free agency. I have them going linebacker. The dude out of Boise State, what was his name again?
I have it written down here. It's Leighton Von Der Esch.
Okay,
I believe it's how you pronounce it.
I will make one comment about Boise State linebackers. The Baltimore Ravens drafted Correa, okay? And he has not panned out. He is horrible. He is late to the ball, and he's just tiny. Does he come to work every day? Is he a special teams beast? Yes. But this guy, I think, actually is a decent linebacker. He has the size. He has the speed. The only knack on him, to me, is you played in a smaller conference. Yep. You didn't get the exposure. You didn't play against the big boys. But I don't think that'll matter. I think he meshes here as an inside linebacker for the Eagles, and I think that helps them. Who do you have the Eagles with the final pick in the first round?
I think they're going to give Carson Wentz or Nick Foles another weapon here. I think they're going to go wide receiver, Cortland Sutton.
SMU.
Giving them one more big receiver. As soon as I can find my paper here, I wrote down a big reason why. Now, Nigel Bradham is re-signed, and Jordan Hicks is always hurt. But they lost Trey Burton.
Yes.
And Trey Burton is a good tight end, and I don't think linebacker is a bad position here either because of Jordan Hicks is always hurt. And having somebody just be able to slide in there and pair with Nigel Bradham. But with Trey Burton gone, I think for them, just getting that one extra weapon just to replace Trey Burton. I know he's not a tight end, but just giving a guy there who could be that possession receiver for him.
I could see that. Anytime you add weapons for quarterbacks and they're Super Bowl champs, it could be a disaster. I was very happy to see Philadelphia win their Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Absolutely.
Har Banks was very excited.
Har Banks was ecstatic.
Unfortunately, I wanted them to do it a little bit earlier again with Donovan McNabb when he was
so did he. That's his boy.
Campbell Chunky Noodle Soup commercials. We all loved his kids.
Oh yeah.
But that does it for the first round, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure we're going to have more to follow. I know personally you're going to get a Ravens update as well as an AFC North divisional outlook for the draft. We only got a couple more days until the draft. Do you plan on doing anything else, big guy?
I'm going to hope to do it, but I have some more things lined up and some things I want to talk about lined up, so I don't think I'm going to get around to it. Just know that the Colts are going to need a lot. If you're a Colts fan out there, it's going to be a brutal season. If Andrew Luck gets back, I think we can go 8-8 and push for a division. But we have so many holes to fill. The AFC South is just going to be I still think Jacksonville wins it. I think they take a step back, but I still think they win it, and I still think they're the team to beat. So with the Colts, for me, football this year, I'm going to be really hoping Ohio State can do something because NFL-wise, I'm not going to have a horse this year. So,
well, we have a huge week coming up. We have some recaps for round 2 of the NHL playoffs. We're going to
and NBA playoffs
and NBA, and we have draft. You get your series Orioles breakdown as they have been throttled by the Indians of late.
The Yankees won today. One's coming probably tomorrow with the Blue Jays series. I'm just going to say I called that right.
If if anyone can hear this and they have a brother-in-law that's a Yankees fan, just know that it's never easy. But this is the Fett, and I'm going to sign off here with the SkiveWalker. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a good day. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to us. And we always want to see comments in the section. If you disagree with us, if there's something you want to say, you think our projections are crap, feel free to go ahead and tell us your mind. We'll respond to you.
Absolutely.
It won't be the response you probably want.
No.
But,
Nah, we'll always stay friendly.
yes, unless you're a Steelers fan and you're related to me. But that's a separate podcast, as
Yes,
we always
sir.
say.
All right, hey, again, we're going to try to make this one the first one that goes on iTunes. So if you're listening on iTunes, thank you so much for downloading. Thank you so much for listening. If you're on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you guys get this, again, thank you for watching. Like the Fett said, leave a like, comment, subscribe. And on YouTube, make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you never, ever miss a single episode. And I don't have anything else to say. So go Colts. Let's hope to God Andrew Luck can come back 100% and carry us to the playoffs. So peace.
Peace.